What's up guys, welcome to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to solve the fourth exercise, and this fourth exercise was based on printing patterns. So in this exercise basically we had to take an input from the user that was an integer, and the end right here that will specify the number of rows in the triangle, and then the user had to input another variable and we had to name it as boolean. So this variable should only be from 0 to 1, and if the boolean was 0 we had to print a triangle in the upward direction, and if the boolean is 1 we had to print the triangle in the downward direction. So let's get started. I am going to write the program first, and after that I'll check the comment section in this video, and if anyone might have commented down the answer I will give them a shout out and declare them as a winner. But I'm going to try to code the program and understand the logic behind the program. So first of all we'll have to make a variable and name it as n. So n will be equal to int input, that is we'll take an input from the user and typecast it into the integer form. So we'll ask the user that enter the number of rows you want, and after this I'll make another variable and name it as boolean. So this will take an input from the user and we'll typecast it into an integer form. So I'll write enter 0 or 1, and after this I'm going to write an if statement. So I'm going to write if, and then I'll write if boolean is equal to 0, then you have to run a for loop. Now guys, why am I running a for loop in this? If I want to print a statement, can't I print it by using print and then apostrophe and like that? No, we cannot, because we had to run a for loop. Now for loop will iterate from one sentence to the another, and with the help of two for loops, what I'll do is that I'll write an apostrophe, and after that, as you can see right here, we have a backslash n, that is the new line character. So we have backslash n right here, and then we have a backslash n right here. So with the help of the I variable, that is I will run a for loop in I, we will take the hold of the backslash n's, that is the new line character, and with the help of the second for loop, that is I'm going to iterate through j, we will be printing the apostrophes. So as you can see right here, if I write for I in range 0 comma n, that is I will go from 0 to n minus 1, that is if I enter n is equal to 4, I will go from 0 to 3. So it will be 0 1 2 3. Okay, so after this, after the for loop I've written right here, I'm going to make another for loop, and I'll name this variable as j. So for j in range. Now what should I put into this range, guys? I'll go to my paint 3D in order to explain it to you that how we are going to put j with respect to I. So as you can see, I'm here in my paint 3D, and we have written 0 comma n, that is the for loop that we are going to run for I, and j will be the for loop that is going to run from 0 to I plus 1. Now why have I wrote I plus 1 right here? As you can see guys, in the first iteration I will be 0, and if the user enters n is equal to, for example, 5, so I will go from 0 to 4, because the range function, as I told you, it neglects the 5 and takes the n minus 1 as the maximum number until which the variable stops. So I will go from 0 to 4, and after that I have run a for loop. So in this program right here, when boolean is 0, we have to print this pattern right here, right? So we have to print it like this. And to print this pattern, we have to write that when I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, j should be 0 as well. Then when I is 1, j should go from 0 to 1. Then when I is 2, j should go from 0, 1, and then 2. And similarly, it should be directly proportional to I. So that's what I meant by this diagram right here. So when I is equal to 0, we want j to be equal to 1. So for that we have to run j, and similarly it should be directly proportional to I. So that's what I meant by this diagram right here. So when I is equal to 0, we want j to be equal to 1. So for that we have to run j from 0 to 1. J from 0 to 1. So in this case j will be equal to 1, and in the second iteration, for example, if I will be equal to 1, we have to run j from 0 to 2. So for that I have written I plus 1, where for example if I is 0, j will be from 0 comma 1, and if I is 1, j will run from 0 comma 2. So that's why I have written 0 comma I plus 1 in this range function right here. And in if I go to my PyCharm ID and if I write 0 comma I plus 1, and after that I'll print the apostrophe and a blank, and I'll end this statement with a blank character right here, and after the loop ends I'm going to print a new line character. So I'll print a new line character right here. And guys, why have I printed a new line character? As I told you, I have ran the for loop for I in order to control the number of new line characters, and I've ran a for loop j in order to print the apostrophes. So I hope that you understood why have I printed a new line character after the for loop ended. And if I run this program right here and I'll enter 4 and I'll enter 0 in the first case. So as you can see, it has printed a triangle right here, but it has printed two new line characters. Now as you can see, the Python program in default it prints a new line character, and I've entered a new line character again, so it prints two new line characters. So I'll enter a empty space character right here, and if I run the program again and I'll enter 4 and then 0, as you can see it has printed our desired output right here. This was the triangle that we wanted in the upward direction, and I hope that you guys understood that how this for loop works. If you have any doubts, please write that down in the comment section below. Don't be shy and share your doubts with me. I am happy to solve them. And guys, if you don't understand any videos, for example a video on for loop, you can watch it again. There's no law such that it does not let you watch a video twice. And guys, to be honest, even I watch my videos twice sometimes. Yes, it might seem a bit weird, but even I watch my videos twice sometimes. For example, yesterday when I wanted to do some work with for loops, I watched my video twice in order to understand what was a for loop and how it worked. After this, as you can see, we have printed a case for boolean when boolean is equal to 0, and now we'll print a case when boolean will be equal to 1. So I'm going to print elif boolean equal to 1, and after this I'll run a for loop from 0 comma n, and this will be the same thing because guys, as you can see right here, I'm going to run I from the same range to the same range, because with the help of I we are just controlling the number of backslash n. So here it will be a backslash n, here it will be a backslash n, here it will be a backslash n in this case. And I'll zoom in for you. And after this, as you can see, I've written for I in range 0 comma n. Now here's the catch. Now how are we going to write the range function for j? I'll go to my paint 3D in order to explain it to you. So in this case, as you can see, we have written 0 comma I plus 1, and I'll rub this off. So in this case, as you can see, when I goes from 0 comma n, and when boolean is 1, we have to print our triangle in the downward direction. So in this manner we have to print our triangle, and right here when I is 0 1 2 3 4, we have to print j from 0 1 2 3 4. So in the first case, when I is equal to 0, I have to iterate j from 0 to 5, that is from 0 to 4. So I'll have to iterate j from 0 to 5. And how can I do that? As you can see right here, n will be equal to 5. I will have to print j to go from 0 comma 5, and when will I get 5? I'll get my 5 when n minus I comes in the maximum case. So as you can see right here, when n is equal to 5 and when I is equal to 0, that is 5 minus 0 will be equal to 5, and we'll get our desired range. And for the second case, if I is equal to 1, and n will be equal to 5, j should go from 0 to 3, 0 to 4. So that j goes from 0 to 3. So in that case, I am going to write 0, comma, n minus I. So n is 5 in this case and I is 1. So this will be equal to 4, and that is the desired range that we get. So guys, you can see here that I and j are inversely proportional to each other in the second case. And that's what we have to do. So I'll write 0, comma, n minus 1 is the range from which the j will work. And if I go back to my PyCharm ID, and if I write 0 comma n minus I, and after that I'll have to print the apostrophe, and then I'll have to end it with a blank character, and after that I'll have to print a blank character here as well. So if I run this program right here, and if I enter 5, and after that I'll enter 1, as you can see it has printed 5 rows in the downward direction, and our program works perfectly. It gives us the desired output as we wanted. So I hope that you guys understood how we are going to run these two for loops. And again, if you have any doubts, you can tell me in the comment section below, and me and my viewers will definitely help you out there. And I'll write an else statement right here as well, that if the boolean is not from 0 and 1, I'm going to print enter uh, correct input values. Please enter correct input values. So as you can see, I have entered please enter correct input values if the boolean is not from 0 or 1. And right here guys, I think so our program is finished. Our program is complete and it is ready. So if I enter 6 right here, I entered 7, sorry, and if I enter 2, it is telling me that I have to enter correct input values. So if I run this program again, and if I enter 6 this time, and if I enter 1, as you can see it has printed a downward triangle with 6 rows. And if I run this program again, and if I enter 10 rows and I'll enter 0, so as you can see it has entered 10 rows in the upward direction. So I hope that you guys understood how the for loops works in order to make a triangle, and how we are controlling the newline character and the apostrophe character with the help of two for loops. And as you can see in my channel, if I go to the playlist section, and after that I'll click on view full playlist, and I'll search for the fourth exercise video. Okay, so I found the fourth exercise video, and if I go to that video and I'll look at the comment section below, so none of the people have commented down. And I hope if you guys are watching from the future when this video is made, I hope that you comment down your answer and I'll look at it. So guys, please comment down your answers in my question videos, because I feel really good about this course, and I hope that you guys practice well enough. So because this is all for you guys, I have made this course for beginners in Python who want to learn it in simple English. And I hope that you guys understood today's video about this program and about the logic behind it. I'll put this code in the comment section down below as the source code, so that if anyone wants to run this program they can do it. And thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you're safe, and I'll see you next time.